Hello, welcome to the two-man Power Trip Wrestling host, JP John Poz. With me today, a very special guest, former MLW World Heavyweight Champion. My yay is for the people, Mr. Alex Kane. Well, welcome in. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. The Suplex Assassin. What's going on in your world? What are you up to?
I just got off of work. I'm a personal trainer. Today was all right, but I'm excited for the weekend because it is War Chamber, and that'll be my very first ever War Chamber match. So it would be interesting. It will be interesting.
Wow, nice. So MLW is still there long term. Is it like a long
Uh,
term?
my contract is up in on June 1st. So yeah, not there long term, but I've been there for a long time.
Right. Plan on resigning, or are you going to play the open market and be
I'm
whatever
gonna
free
play
agent?
the open market a little bit. Actually, well, I really had no choice. They were like, I mean, the door is always open, but we want you to try to, make some real money. So that's what I'm gonna try to do.
Nice. So are you looking anywhere in particular? Are you
I'm
really
looking any and everywhere. I'm getting a what they call like a sizzle reel, so it's like promos and like it's like a highlight reel with like promos included, or maybe even like sound bites included. So I'm getting one of those made, so that once that's complete, I will have something that I can actually send to the other companies, and hopefully somebody's like, "Oh, this guy has a lot of promise. Let's spend some money."
nice? I like that. Anywhere like in particular, let's say just throwing out there, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I feel like you would probably be a nice little fit for New Japan if that's something that's on your radar.
I mean that would be cool. I don't have a contact for them just yet, but I was talking to Suzuki and Kojima, and they told me to reach out to All Japan, so I'm gonna do that. I have a contact for Noah, so I'm gonna do that as well. But yeah, if I can find a contact for New Japan, I'll definitely do that.
Do you think that you fit the Japan style? I feel like with the
Uh,
suplexes,
I mean, literally every Japanese wrestler that I've ever come into contact with, like personally or wrestled, have said that I would fit in. So I think I would fit.
absolutely, I think so too. And Kojima, that's a good one. Obviously, you guys have crossed paths. You've have wrestled
Hmm.
in MLW before, so that's a pretty damn good one right there.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I love Kojima.
So when you're looking at it, right, your MLW right now, that's kind of where you made your real name for yourself in MLW. When you first came into MLW, how did you actually get in? Like, what was the process of actually getting into MLW to begin with?
Man, I got an email out of nowhere, from them asking if I had any interest in working with them. And like I remember I mentioned in like few podcast interviews before, like just watching the product. I said I always wanted to kind of go there and kind of cut my teeth. I feel like um, my style and presentation would fit in well there, which it has. But yeah, I got an email one day and I thought it was like a joke, but I decided to answer it anyway. And they were like, "Yeah, we were interested in signing you. We like your work." So I, uh, I, filled out all the paperwork that I had to fill out, and I signed with them. I think it was like the week after, or yeah, it was like the week after. Yeah, they sent the email.
Man, that's a funny thing. Imagine if you didn't think it was real and you just let that go, and they're like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, right,
we wouldn't be here.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's interesting. When you do get on board, obviously you probably got a hookup with Court Bauer, right? I mean, that's kind of who's telling you they like what they see from you from the Indies.
No, I mean, I did get to talk to Court a little bit. No, I got to talk to him after they announced that I had signed. Um, but mainly I was talking to MSL, who does like all the talent, like liaison stuff like that. So like he's the he's the guy that handles all the like the contracts and stuff like that. Court really just writes the show.
So when you obviously, you're breaking in, you kind of
Mhm.
first get there. Any promises of anything, or like, is it just one of those things? We'll see how the crowd reacts. We'll see how you are in the ring. We're not going to promise you anything.
No, there were no promises, but like they were really high on me from the get go. Like my first day there, like I'm nervous out of my fucking mind. Like I don't know what to fucking do. But like everybody on the staff, all the wrestlers are like really really cool. And all of the the producing staff was like really really excited to work with me. So it was that was a cool experience. But yeah, like my debut match, um, which was it was just a squash match against this guy named Bud Heavy. After Court was like, we found our Taz, and I was like, well, that's cool. And then the ring announcer there, who does a lot of the ring announcing at 2300 Arena, I can't remember his name right now, but he said I was better than Taz, so I was like, let's go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stephen DeAngelis, possibly?
Yeah, Stephen DeAngelis, yeah.
Wow, high praise, right? Don't you think? Or
Yeah,
you a
no,
big
no,
Taz
no,
guy?
definitely. I mean, am I a huge Taz guy? Now I am, like since I've like been doing it, but like before, I didn't experience ECW Taz. I experienced WWE Taz, which is like the more watered down version of Taz. So like I wasn't like, oh, this guy's awesome. But like as I kind of got into like watching more wrestling when I became a professional wrestler, I was like, oh, this guy is fucking sick. Like why didn't they let him be this in WWE?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So is your style kind of based off of Taz though, or no?
I mean, people would definitely say that, but like he wasn't like the direct inspiration of my in-ring work, because again, I didn't watch any of Taz. I didn't watch any of ECW Taz when I first started. I have a Greco and freestyle wrestling background, so I knew that I wanted to throw suplexes. But as time kind of went on, the comparisons are definitely there. But yeah, like I mean, I guess like after the fact, kind of an inspiration, but like not like when I first started. The inspiration when I first started was Brock Lesnar.
So were you always a fan though, or just kind of from that era of fandom?
Was I always? No, I was a fan. I was a fan of professional wrestling, before all that. The very first like piece of like wrestling media that I ever got my hands on was Stone Cold's Demolition. I think it's either Stone Cold Demolition or Stone Cold Demolition. One of the two. That's semantics. The I would I think I bought it from like a yard sale, and like the guy well, it's actually a kid. The kid explained to me like the basic gist of the VHS tape, and I literally watched that every single day. Had no idea that all of this shit had already happened or whatever. I watched it like it was happening right then and there. So that was like my first piece of wrestling media, and then I got introduced to video games, and then like the action figures, and then I finally got to the actual realized this comes on every week on TV.
So you're kind of missing out on a lot of stuff for a while.
Yeah. Because I kind of strolled into like the ruthless aggression era. That's when I really started to like watch. I think the very first match I saw was Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy for the Undisputed Championship. And that was the match. I watched that match with my dad when I decided I was going to become a professional wrestler. Or like that was going to be like my job.
Damn match. Did you feel like you were the Jeff Hardy? Or you feel like you're the Undertaker in that?
I felt like I was Jeff Hardy.
The underdog.
Yeah. I felt like I was Jeff Hardy.
It was a great match. Crazy spots too. A few those bumps from Hardy were pretty crazy in that match.
Yeah.
So your dad was a fan too.
Yeah, like his favorite wrestler was like was it Mr. Wrestler #1? Like
Mr.
he
Wrestler
was,
#2. Yeah.
or number 2. Sorry, Mr. Wrestler number 2. But like I don't think he was ever like a diehard, like, oh my god, let's go wrestling fan. But he used to watch it with his mom. So yeah, they would watch that. It was like every Saturday night.
Love that. Is Brock Lesnar the influence because Ruthless Aggression era? That's kind of obviously where he gets his main push or his first push. That's kind of your thinking too. Like you're loving Ruthless Aggression, you're loving Lesnar, and that's where you started to.
I think
fall in love with
that's when I first caught wind of Lesnar. But like, I think it was like when he came back. No, fucking Lesnar in shorts is kind of where I was, because like my trainer AR Fox always told me to watch him. Mainly told me to watch him, how he worked and how he sold, because that's kind of the style that I was going for. So yeah, that's Fox kind of put me on to that. He's like, you need to sell like this guy, you need to work like this guy.
How'd you get connected with Fox? I know he's your trainer, but how did you guys get connected to begin with?
I was looking up wrestling schools, and I saw it was between him, his wrestling school, and Robert Gibson's wrestling school. And I remember I went to Robert Gibson's wrestling school, and there was nobody there. And trying to like communicate with him was very, very weird. And then I saw that Air Fox's school did a show every Thursday, so I went to one of their shows. Awesome experience. I think I ended up going back to a second one, and then I signed up the following week. So yeah, I had no idea who Fox was, but I know the very first moment I saw him, like, you know, when you see somebody famous, or you see somebody with that presence that like they are somebody. That's the feeling I got, like the goosebumps and everything. And he was like he is and was the most chill, cool, humble guy ever. So yeah, I decided from that moment, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely signing up here.
Did you think he was a good trainer though, as far as Fox?
I think he's probably, I mean, the facility isn't the greatest facility in the world. It's not state of the art or anything like that. I wish it was, but it's not. But Fox, as a trainer, is probably one of the best trainers on this planet. He be having dudes ready to have great great psychology sound matches in like 6 months or less.
Why do you think he didn't get like signed or picked up until recently with AEW? But it felt like he's been kind of a great wrestler for a while.
He had some kind of like tape come out or something like that. I think that's mainly it. He got blackballed, or I guess he said he got blackballed after that came out. But yeah, he had some questionable things happen. He made some questionable decisions.
Gotcha. But good trainer though, good wrestler though.
Great wrestler, great trainer, great friend.
When you look at it, him versus Gibson, that's funny though. Like Gibson, like you would think, like this legendary wrestler, you'd think he would have his stuff together, but he didn't. AR Fox had his stuff together.
Yeah, he did not have his stuff together. Yeah, it was really, really hard trying to get into contact with him. And also, I think it was like $2,000 or $2,500 to wrestle for him, or to go to his school. And then it was like for Fox's school at the time, it's more expensive now, but at the time it was like $1,300 for 3 years, or it may have been $1,200 for 3 years, whatever. And I'm like, that's a fucking steal,
right?
Yeah. So I went ahead and went with that. Best decision I ever made.
The original background you had though, like you said, it was amateur wrestling. You did it in high school and college.
Yeah. I did folk style wrestling in high school. I did freestyle and Greco in college.
How far did you get? Like, how were you good?
Nah, I was in high school. Apparently, I was good. Going back and like talking to some of the other coaches. The only issue, my biggest issue in wrestling as a whole was I just didn't have the confidence in myself. I didn't believe in myself, but like I had all of the ability to be good. So that was really that was the thing that held me back.
How long does it take you in pro wrestling to get to that level where you're confident in yourself, where you're like, I'm good. This is for me. This is my job. This is what I want to do.
I think I was 2 years in when I realized that I'm actually good at this. It was actually my match with O'Shea Edwards at you can't do that in a wrestling ring at Action Wrestling. That was the match where I realized, okay, I could be a problem in the ring in a positive manner. I could be a problem. So like that was the moment where it was like, all right, all this shit makes sense now.
When you're looking at it, right, like pro wrestling versus amateur, obviously completely different, but it's cool when you have that background, you could actually mix it in and look legit and make it look good, stylistically. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very important to obviously to your style in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm. No, most definitely. I think the hardest thing with that was like learning to actually work with people and not like think like, oh, this is like competition, like I have to mess this guy up. So like that was probably one of the hardest things to unlearn. But once I did unlearn it and realize like, okay, this is a work, got to do this, and this, or whatever, it also became a lot easier.
Did you ever think about getting into MMA?
Nope, never crossed my
Never.
mind.
Why not?
I don't want to get punched in the face like that.
Or that, yeah. Makes sense.
Seeing some of the injuries some of them dudes have, and like it just also just doesn't look fun. Like preparing for fights the way that they have to prepare, and going through fight camp and doing all the shit they do, just to go out there and maybe the match goes 3 rounds, maybe you get knocked out in the first 30 seconds, like. That never really appealed to me.
So, but we were talking about obviously MLW before, kind of going back. Like you're trying to be maybe a smaller version of Brock Lesnar. You're doing an amateur wrestling thing.
I mean,
Then
I was just trying to be. I mean, I took from Kurt Angle, I took from Brock Lesnar, I took from Shelton Benjamin, I took from all these different characters, just trying to find my own thing, and I kind of mixed them all together. I guess there's some Benoit in there as well. I just kind of mixed them all together and tried to like come up with my own thing, and eventually I did, kind of set myself apart from those things, from those like characters. So like being in MLW, I wasn't trying to be like Taz. I wasn't trying to be like Brock. I was just trying to, figure out who Alex Kane was. And I guess I kind of, one of my producers named Biff Lawson, he does like live PD stuff as well on the side, but he's a really great producer. When he kind of made me realize that I could be, I could kind of be myself, just be like, just kind of be myself as a black man. That's when everything kind of clicked for me as far as like being in MLW. Like I don't have to talk a certain way. I can talk, how I would with my friends out here on stage. I can act like I would with my friends out here on stage, and just kind of just like be free. That's when everything clicked for me.
What does he mean by you're their Taz? Like you're their shooter, you're their guy that
the shooter. They're like they're shooter basically.
Do you think that's great though, in essence, because then you're really starting to get over with the wrestling? You know what I mean? Like you're actually the character you kind of were building up. It is actually coming through. Intently.
Man,
really.
You know what's weird? I don't even necessarily think, and it kind of sucks a little bit, but I don't necessarily think I got over it with the wrestling portion of things, because like things didn't really start to like, I really didn't start to get over with the crowd until I implemented the trash talking character portion of things, because like I could always wrestle my ass off, but like anybody can wrestle. I mean, you can teach just about anybody to wrestle. Whether they're good at it or not is another thing. But you can teach anybody to wrestle. Once I started like the shit talking and stuff like that, that's when I actually started to get over. So it wasn't even necessarily the wrestling. The wrestling was always there, but once I actually started to implement the character, they were like, "We like this guy."
Character is very, very important, right? And being a key
Yeah.
to be able to get over with the crowd.
No, definitely. I don't know if it was. I think it was. I think it was once like the Boomerang Fight Club was formed. Like at first I wouldn't say it was even rocky or whatever because we were heels, but like once I started saying Boomerang is for the people or whatever, like I think it was like a few shows after that where like people started to like it was like an organic like baby face turn, but like they didn't immediately switch us to being baby faces. We were just cool heels. But yeah, I think it's when the Boomerang Fight Club was formed. That's when things started to kind of turn around for me as far as getting over with the crowd.
I think, though, the character is important, but it was like, wow, this guy's a shit talker, but he backs it up with the wrestling.
Yeah.
So he's like a legit tough guy, but he also talks shit. Like, like Deion Sanders, something like he would talk all this stuff, and then all of a sudden he'd pick off the ball and he'd run it back. And, man, this guy's talking game, but he actually could back it up. Like, damn it.
Deion Sanders again, like Deion Sanders, Chad Ochocinco, like Brian Dawkins, all those guys or whatever were also influences on my character because it was like you don't want to fully just look into wrestling. I tell young guys like this all the time. You don't want to just look within wrestling or whatever to kind of like try to find yourself. Like look outside of wrestling, see what characters outside of wrestling, that you identify with.
Very true. That is true. You're a big Deion guy, big Deion fan?
Yeah.
He was the best. I love Deion. He was the man. I just love that he would just talk all that stuff, and then he could just back it up on the field. He was almost like Ric Flair in essence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
essentially
like that cocky heel kind of, but he was actually could back it up. Was really, really good.
The GOAT.
That. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. One of the greatest, not only defensive players, one of the greatest players of all time. Really, if you look at it, kind of the key behind the 49ers winning the Super Bowl, and the key behind the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl a year later. So yeah, you gotta love Deion. When you are like Boomerang for the people and really getting that over, is that you creating that, or is that guys like collectively, like MLW and you creating, or is that just you on your own doing that?
No, that was a collective effort between me and Court. Because he was trying to figure out what, because when I initially signed my MLW, I was under American Top Team, but there was really no legs to that or whatever. It was just like, okay, he's a shooter, we'll put him on American Top Team. But once that kind of dissolved, we needed some faction thing or whatever to kind of build around me. And like I think I pitched like I switched like a few names. I don't even know if I still have those names. Let me see if I have them in my notes.
As opposed to the Boomerang Fight Club, do you actually have some other names?
Man, I think I said like Suplex Syndicate, some other nonsense. He was like, all that is way too gimmicky. So he had me watch the Muhammad Ali documentary, and it got around to the I think it was like the third, not episode, but like third part of the documentary, and it was like the Rumble in the Jungle, and they were chanting Ali Boomerang, Ali finish him, Ali kill him. And like we were talking, we were discussing that because he was quizzing me on it. And he was just like Boomerang, and I was like Boomerang, and he was like the Boomerang Fight Club, and I was like, oh, that could work. And then we can do like African colors and stuff like that, and like really, really make it like a part of the culture. So yeah, that was a joint effort between me and Court Bauer.
And then obviously it's for the people. Boomerang is
for the people.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Do you think though, with that really elevated you to the next level, just as far as like, okay, he's got a character, he's got the catchphrase, like, you know what I mean? Just keep elevating you to the tippy top of MLW. Is that really the lightning rod?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I think once Boom My Edge for the People started to catch on, that's what that and the cheese stick slap heard around the world. Those two things were the things that kind of catapulted me to the top of MLW.
You win Battle Riot, right, in 2023, and that
Yep.
kind of that's the obviously the launching pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like winning that one big contender match, basically, and moving on. So you win Battle Riot. Do you know at that point you're starting to get a big push, or they still aren't giving you a lot as far as telling you where you're going to be?
They would never tell. He would never tell me like, okay, you're gonna get this big push. The only time he ever told me I was gonna get a big push was when I won the national openweight title. I think he had said. I think it was sometime after that he was doing some kind of interview or whatever, and he was like, Alex Kane is going to be presented as a big star. So essentially, kind of then he was like, yeah, you're kind of going to get a push. But I remember he had told me that I needed to up my cardio. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I think it was like a week before Battle Riot, he was like, you're going in, you're gonna win Battle Riot, and you're also gonna go in at number 1. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. So yeah, he told me I was going in at number 1 or whatever. I did do more cardio and stuff like that. But yeah, he was never like, I'm trying to figure out a way to put this. He would tell me when things were gonna happen, but he'd also try to kayfabe things sometimes. But if I was gonna, I remember after I won Battle Riot, and I in my mind I was like, I'm not beating Hammerstone. That's not gonna happen. I'm obviously gonna lose to Hammerstone. And I texted and I was like, I'm obviously not beating Hammerstone. So how are we doing this? And he just sent a bunch of laughing face emojis or whatever. He's like, what do you mean you're not gonna beat Hammerstone? Do you see how over you are with these fucking people? We're pulling the fucking trigger. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was far more excited than okay, cool. But
right.
But yeah, when he told me that, I was like, oh, holy shit, I'm gonna be a world champion. That's fucking crazy. A recognized world champion at that. It's gonna be insane. But yeah, I mean, the build up to me and Hammerstone wasn't the greatest build up ever. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, he's always he's always kept me in the loop of things that were gonna happen. Yeah. Good guy.
So why didn't you think you were getting a win? Why didn't you think you were being?
Man, I didn't see how over the Fight Club or how over I was with the fans as initially. And Hammerstone was having this great fucking run or whatever, and he's fucking Hammerstone. So I was like, man, I'm definitely not beating this guy. And I mean, honestly, I thought the build between me and him was going to be longer, but it wasn't. It was just kind of boom, here we go. Which I'm glad. Which I don't think it. I think if the build was any longer, was longer than it was, I don't think it would have had the same effect, because I think people were growing tired of Hammerstone's run, not because he's a bad wrestler or anything like that. He's a great, phenomenal wrestler. But I just think people were just getting kind of bored with it. And so they wanted something new. They wanted something fresh. And that's kind of what we heard in the match. If you go back and you watch it, they're booing it. There was nothing that he did that made him a heel that night or whatever. But they were just staunchly behind me. So every one of his little antics that he would do, shaking the robe, flexing, whatever, they would be chanting same old shit. They be chanting like boring. Oh god, it was. My wife was there that night, and she felt so bad for him. They was just They was giving it to him.
What did you think, though? As obviously it's Philly, those crowds are pretty unpredictable. But what did you think that they're behind you, and what do you think about actually when you win the title? What was your feelings?
Like Philly literally watched me grow up in MLW. Like I debuted there. I won Battle Riot there. I won the National Point title there. Literally, like, almost all of my cool moments happened in that building. So for it to come full circle to the point where I win the world title in front of these same people, I think that was like the coolest. That was the coolest part of the entire thing. Was the place that I debut is the same place I win the world title. So I thought that was that was a magical moment, even though I was tired as fuck. It was a magical moment.
Man, those tapings, I don't know. I mean, they kind of still do it to a certain extent, but man, that was a long ass day of tapings. There were so many matches on that card. Like, oh my god, what are they doing? Like, gonna kill the crowd before the main event. Thank God it didn't. But.
No, yeah, thank God it didn't. I mean, most shows it doesn't. I hope that they go to like a. I mean, I don't know if they can even do this, but they should. I feel like they should do like 2 days, like one day do the tape show or whatever, and then come back the next day and do the live show. I feel like they would make more. I feel like they would make more money.
Oh yeah,
maybe. I think they would make more money because maybe people don't care about the live show. I mean, the tape show, and people do care about the live show. I don't fucking know, but I think they'd make more money. The boys would definitely get another day of pay, which would be great, instead of trying to pack everything into one day.
Yeah,
we gotta get there at like 1:30 or whatever, and we're there all day until the show, filming things or just hanging out.
And sometimes it ends after midnight, so sometimes you're there for over 12 hours.
Crazy. Yeah, it's that shit's crazy. Sometimes, I mean, like lately, like the last couple of years, like when I'm done, I'm just gonna leave. I don't give a shit. Go back to the hotel. I'm not sitting around for the rest of this nonsense. And especially like, I think the next show is Chicago, and it's essentially just a lucha. It's essentially just a lucha show with some matches or whatever from like just like purely MLW. And like I noticed the last time we were there, like I don't necessarily know if that market actually watches MLW, but they know all of these luchadors, so that's what they're coming for. So like they're not tuned into any of the other stories going on, so it kind of makes it a little weird as far as like filming it for TV. And like I feel like that's going to be the same like deal here. Like most of the card is luchadors or whatever. They're going to be excited for that shit. And then like for anything else crazy that happens. It kind of is what it is.
Just feel like not only wrestler fatigue, but crowd fatigue. You don't want your crowd. Sometimes you kill the crowd. It doesn't sound like great on TV, or doesn't have the same energy. If it was a shorter show or shorter, just overall day, the crowd can conserve that energy and go nuts. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say the Chicago crowd. It's like a Mexican. It's like a crowd in Mexico, kind of. Because I mean, the crowd is largely Hispanic, Latino. They be on the entire fucking night if they give a damn about what's going on. Like if they like for the luchadors, they're going crazy the whole fucking time.
Right.
For like some of the stuff that MLW necessarily does that they kind of mix in there, it's like I don't really know. So like it's really hit or miss, but like if they care about what's going on, they're going nuts, and they'll be up all night.
So obviously we're talking about beating Hammerstone. You become the champ. You become the man. Added pressure as far as you're the world champion of MLW. Kind of a big deal. I mean, definitely a big deal.
Yeah, I guess there was some added pressure. Like it's just like how I like presented myself and like how I like dressed and stuff like that. So like I definitely had to change that because before I would just show up in sweatpants. I mean, Hammerstone would just show up in sweatpants, but I guess I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to carry the belt and dress like that, so I just started dressing nicer. And just kind of evolved over time. And then definitely like having to be like a locker room leader, but also being like one of the youngest guys, one of the not youngest, but one of the younger guys there, as far as like just like wrestling experience, young. Um, so yeah, there was definitely some pressure there just to deliver in every like title defense and stuff like that, and to make everything like mean something and everything make everything matter. Which I feel like I did, even though the reign wasn't that long. It was still a pretty impactful reign.
Do you think that it was the right call? Were you winning the title? Because I mean, the crowd was loving it that you beat Hammer that night.
No, it was definitely the right call. If I can't even imagine what the reaction would have been if I'd lost that. Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been real bad. That would not have been a good business move.
Those Philly fans are unforgiving. I know that. I mean,
they are unforgiving. That would have been a bad move for MLW.
Does Court or anybody, in the office, they say like, "Hey, we're making the right decision. We're going with you." Do they like give you any sort of like pump up, like, "Hey, you're our guy"?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, they made it known. They made it known from the outset that I was their guy or whatever. Like they were going to like do everything they could to present me as big of a star as they could. So like it was always like Court now is one of my best friends. But yeah, he was always like, yeah, we're gonna do everything we can to like make you into the biggest star we can.
Man, it feels like they gave you a bunch of pretty damn like big names that you beat during the title run. Matt Cardona, you obviously Tom Lawler, who's a former champion, Richard Holiday. So I mean, you had a nice little run. Maybe not as long as you maybe could have or should have had, but just as far as the names you beat along the way, there's some pretty good, high profile names in there.
Yeah, and like I mean, I kind of knew it's like even when I won it, like the reign wasn't gonna be stupid long because like I think Fatu's run was only as long as it was the first time. Was the first time? No, yeah. Fatu's run was only as long as it was because of COVID, and then Hammerstone's run was as long as it was because until they built me up, they didn't have anybody to for him to drop the belt to. So I knew that the reign wasn't going to be long. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than it was, but like I understood the business behind dropping it to Kojima and stuff like that. So, I'm glad that like I told Court that I didn't want to just wrestle matches for the sake of wrestling matches because I feel like that's a lot of what Hammerstone ended up having to do, just like wrestling matches because this is a banger match, this is awesome, let's do this. I wanted every match that I had to have a story to it, to have some kind of conflict. And that's why I love the World Titan Federation versus Boomerang Fight Club like dynamic. I truly enjoyed that. It's because it made every title defense feel like, every title defense feel like it mattered, and also like he could lose the belt here, because they would always find some way to stack the deck against me.
Plus, Boomaye was super over. World Titan was absolutely hated by the fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So to add an extra level of like, we actually care that he holds on because we actually don't want them, one of them to win.
Yeah. I don't think they could have I don't think they could have stretched that for too long. So it kind of had to come to an end at some point.
What about beating Jacob Fatu? That long, good match you had with Jacob Fatu. Obviously, huge win. Now it even looks even bigger. You're looking at where he's at. So, What about beating Fatu? Any thoughts on like working him, or what are your feelings on Jacob?
I love Jacob. I wish he'd answer his phone more often, but that's neither here nor there. He actually my entire time at MLW, he was probably one of the most like encouraging and like helpful dudes like there. Like he would always make sure like I was keeping my head held high, whether I had a great performance or maybe I even had a not so great performance. Um, and then just like working him was like super easy, and it was just a lot of fun. Like we called a little bit of it, but a lot of that was just on the fly. Like, let's do this. Oh, let's do this. This will be cool. Um, I absolutely love working Jacob, and it's so awesome to like see, what he's done in just like a little bit less than a year, and how much success he's gotten, and how much success he's going to have. It's like nobody else deserves it more than he does. He's such a genuinely nice dude, and he's just good people.
A while back at an MLW show, I got to after like way after it was over, that bar set up in Philly. He was there, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna BS with him. I was like, he's kind of scary to be honest, but I was like, I'm gonna try. He was so nice and humble, shared a little bit of a drink with me. We were talking about his dad, the Tonga kid and stuff. So I was like, wow, this guy is such a nice, like humble guy. It's crazy, like to hear stories like from Kevin Sullivan tells me, like, he's like, oh my god, I've seen him beat up 3 guys at once. I'm like, it's just crazy thinking of it. I was like, he's kind of a scary dude. What a nice, humble guy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe he beat up 3 dudes at once. Maybe not. That might just be bullshit. But
right, of course, you never know.
You really never know. I think with everything that he's gone through in his life, I think it would be actually it'd be kind of weird if he was a dickhead. I think like he's gone through so much, he's seen so much shit, where like I think he's happy to be alive. He's happy to be on this side of things rather than being incarcerated and shit like that. He has a loving wife. Fucking, I think it's like 7 kids, which is fucking insane.
Oh wow!
I think he's only a year older than me. But yeah, I think like he's beyond blessed, like beyond blessed. So like, why would he be mad or angry or be an asshole?
Absolutely. So you said you knew the title run wasn't going to be as long, or you did know that kind of going in?
No, I figured it wasn't going to be that long. From just the get go, I knew it wasn't going to be that long. I mean, his Court always says he likes his title reigns to be like at tops like 12 months. So like, yeah, so not stupid long. But yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be like super long, and I necessarily didn't want it to be super long. I just wanted it to be impactful. I just wanted people to care about it, people to talk about it, and after losing it or whatever, for people to want to see me win it again, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, which sucks, but is what it is. But yeah, that's really what I wanted out of it. I just wanted it to mean something. I wanted it to matter.
So you weren't surprised losing it back in Philly to Kojima, 200 whatever days it was later. You weren't surprised at all.
No, I wasn't. I kind of looked at it because like a lot of guys will be in a position like me and they'll win a belt or whatever. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then when it comes time to lose it, like they lose their fucking minds about it. And like, I think he kind of prepared me pretty well for it when I won the national weight and when I lost it, because that reign wasn't super long either. But people, for some reason, still liked it. I didn't really like it that much. But like, I know what championships in professional wrestling are. It's not so much a trophy. It's so much of a nod to you for your hard work or whatever. And like, okay, we're gonna put this on you, or whatever. And we're gonna, try to push you to the moon. So like for me, like I was just like, I mean, this is fun. Like most dudes would kill to be in the spot or whatever, and like nobody can take this from me. And then when like I didn't know much about Kojima before wrestling him, but like after watching a lot of his work and like seeing the history of him in MLW, I was like, you know what? This makes perfect fucking sense. Who else would I lose this belt to than a final boss like fucking Satoshi Kojima? And I think of wrestling a lot like a video game. Like I may have been built super fucking strong, but Kojima's just that much stronger. So like you go up against the final boss, you don't always win the first time. It may take a few times. So like that's kind of how I looked at it. Yeah. And that was also one of the easiest matches I've ever had in my life.
Wow, really? Well, how so? Like, just it
was just because Kojima literally, like, I think I spoke to him a few times or whatever, very short, very brief. I think he probably speaks really good English, but he'd be kayfabing people and not speaking and just be like, okay, yeah, keep this shit short, let me move the fuck on. That's what I think. I think he'd be kayfabing people, but when I came in, because I was nervous, like how are we gonna put this together some third or whatever, because there is that language barrier. He had I guess he either watched my stuff, knew my shit, put the match together, put my stuff where it needed to be fucking put or whatever. I think I tweaked like a few things here and there, but yeah, like he put that together.
What do you think of just him being champion for as long as he was and you not really getting the title back? Like, does that mean anything? Like you said, oh, probably not, but does that mean anything? Like, just as far as like maybe they could have went back to that well?
I think they could have went back to it, but I understand the business of it all or whatever. You know, they want that international rub. Like, I don't think, like, I mean, outside of him taking it to New Japan or Wrestle Kingdom or whatever, like, I mean, that's cool, but like, I feel like it almost kind of became an afterthought a little bit. Like, it didn't like mean as much. And even now with Riddle having it, like, I feel like it's kind of going to be like an uphill battle for him to like make it mean something. And that's not even me being biased. Like, if I wasn't Alex Kane, looking on the outside in, the run that Alex Kane had versus the guy that beat him and the guy that has it now, like, it doesn't feel as big. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, hopefully I go somewhere else and win a world title. We'll see.
Right. So what do you think about Riddle? What are your thoughts on Matt Riddle?
I mean, I like Riddle personally, and I like him professionally. And like the belt not feeling like it's like as big isn't a knock on Riddle at all. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as big as it used to feel. And I feel like it's going to take some like really great stories to make it mean something. Because I think a lot of what he had, the defense against me and Kojima, which was cool because we're all the former world champions, recent world champions, so that was cool. And then like the battle riot itself was one big ass title defense, but that was fucking weird. Which large title defenses like that are always fucking weird. I don't know what he has next. I just like, he just needs a really great like villain to go up against to really make that mean something again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like all like good baby faces need like that big villain to kind of go up against, you know, the Batman to the Joker, if you will, or Joker to Batman kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And right now he just doesn't have that. It's just he has the star power of, you know, being in WWE and all that other shit. But like he has that. But like, I mean, phenomenal fucking wrestler. But he has those two things, but like, it's still missing another like element to make it feel this is fucking huge.
So you did not like, or you thought the battle riot was a little weird. Why is that?
I mean, battle riots are always fucking weird. One, because sometimes like it's just from like I don't know what to call it. Like sometimes the ring isn't big enough. But the ring was a decent size this time. I think it was like an 18. I guess the thing that annoys me about battle riots sometimes, especially like this one, was like just like on like the scripting and stuff. Like I didn't have any like big moments or anything like that. Like I just kind of felt like, yeah, I'm on my way out or whatever. Like I know that's not how they feel, but it kind of felt like, hey,
They didn't have spots for you.
they didn't have spots for me. We kind of had to come up with that on my own. And the spot between me and Hammerstone was on the fly anyway. Um, um, like I spent most of the time fighting with the Rogue Horseman, but like that also doesn't feel like it feels that feud could have been, because it's gonna end at War Chamber, but a feud could have been way bigger than it ended up being. And like even like the way like how we interacted in the match was just kind of like this is really an afterthought, because it's really just like a showcase of all these former WWE guys coming in or whatever, and being a part of it. And I don't even know if these guys are going to show up again. I don't know if these guys are going to be here for long term. I don't know if they're just there for the extra Bishop Dyer and fucking the one guy, the modern day Maharaj. I'm fucking up his name.
Oh, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Yeah, sorry. No disrespect to you, Jinder. I just didn't know your name right then and there. Like it just kind of felt like we're gonna put all this star power in here, but like kind of like not give like your homegrown guys like the spotlight. Like I thought that was weird.
I could see that. Yeah, that could be kind of a little disheartening to the homegrown guys for sure.
Yeah. Tough.
Yeah. So as we hit the wind down here and head towards the finish, what are some like your favorite guys that you worked, or some of your favorite matches, or if somebody wants to look it up, like Alex Kane versus this guy, I got to see this, got to see that. Who are some of the better matches you had?
My favorite matches, definitely Hammerstone for the world title. Not even because I won, but it was just a good match. My match against Willie Mack, which was my first title defense. My match against Jacob Fatu, which is on my YouTube, and you should watch it. They're not on the internet, but I'm sure you could probably like subscribe to MLW's YouTube channel. But either one of my matches with Davey Boy Smith, we had just like a regular wrestling match, and then we had a no ropes catch style match, which was a lot of fun. Both of my matches with Davey Richards were a lot of fun. Who else did I wrestle? Matt Cardona was fun. That's one you can watch. If that Richard Holiday match is out there, that's another decent one. But yeah, I guess as far as from my run, those are probably the ones that stick out to me the most. And the one with Kojima.
I was gonna say, got to mention Kojima, the Breadmaster. There,
that was that was a shocker. Like I remember, like once they counted three, like everything was silent for like a good minute or whatever. Like what the fuck happened? Like because nobody thought, I was gonna lose that match. But yeah, but like I mean, it's so it quickly turned around and be like, oh yeah, yay, Breadman, Kojima, yay, whatever. But yeah. Well, I think those are the matches that people should watch of mine. And also, how can I forget the Throne match with AJ Francis? That was a great match. Even though for some reason he thinks that that's the best match I've ever had, and he only thinks that because he was in it. But that's neither here nor there.
Maybe the best match he's ever had. Maybe not you've ever had, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in a couple of years? Like you said, no more MLW possibly. So where do you see yourself?
Man, I hope to be in like either NXT or AEW. I mean, because I would like to stay in the States. But I mean, if not there, like doing a few tours of Japan. Like any one of those options would be cool for me. I think I would thrive in NXT.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think if Japan is one of your stops too, it definitely could. In the same vein of like the Steiner brothers or like Dr. Death, you know what I mean? Like those shooter wrestler guys that get over so much that they love, the Japanese love those guys that are like legit.
Yeah, and I could be the cool black guy in Japan because they love that shit.
Yeah, suplex and all the Japanese guys. Yeah, definitely. You could be the top gaijin over there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So where can everybody find you, follow you? And you mentioned a YouTube channel. What's the YouTube channel everybody can find and follow? All your socials.
Let me see what it actually is because I can never remember. Hold on. Alex _ Kane 1. That's my YouTube channel. Twitter is Alex _ Kane 11. TikTok is the same handle. Instagram is the Suplex Assassin. I think that's all my social. Blue Sky is Alex. Hold on. What is Blue Sky?
Yeah, you got to know your handles here.
I've been forgetting that Blue Sky even exists sometimes. Alex Kane Boomaye .bluesky.social. That's what Blue Sky is. But yeah, if you don't follow me anywhere, follow me on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. Twitter's cool. Twitter's whatever. But follow me on TikTok.
All right, nice. Alex Kane, the Suplex Assassin, Boomaye is for the people. Thank you so much for all the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.